I've often sat watching the news, and inevitably on the news, some event that happened in Africa will be mentioned. But one of the things that they do is that they never ever mention the name of the country. And I feel like yelling at the TV, no, Africa is not a country. So rather than to pick up drinking or go for therapy, I decided maybe I'll just come here and tell my story and take it out. So my name is Kevin, and I was born in Kenya. Kenya is just one of 54 different countries in Africa, each of them unique in its own way. And although I can't really speak for any of the other countries, I just wanted to give you a bit of what it was like growing up and living in Kenya. So, Jambo, habari yako. This is Nairobi City. This is the capital city of Nairobi. This is where I was born and raised. It's a beautiful city, great people, kind of like Seattle, culturally diverse. Although in Nairobi, the diversity tends to be more on the black side, whereas in Seattle, so the other thing I love about Nairobi is that it has really good culture and theater, art, dance, and music. In fact, growing up in Nairobi, I really loved attending the music festivals. This is actually a music festival that is currently happening in Nairobi. It's called Koroga. I haven't been there because it's actually started when I had already left. But it's kind of like bumper shoot, except minus the smell of pot or patchouli. But it's a great place, lots of great food. You can hear lots of great local and other African bands. And one of the things, too, that I really love about the festival is the fashions. Just checking out some of the local fashion trends. So I know this might be a little hard to believe, just look at me like this, but back in the day, I used to be a model. And that was me back then. It was awesome because I used to be able to get dressed up, because I love to dress up. And we'd go do some great shows. And even sometimes on Sundays, I would be in the center fashion spread in the Sunday papers. What you might not really realize is that Nairobi actually does have a really thriving fashion industry. This is one of my favorite Nairobi designers. But here's, I guess, where the breakdown, Seattle breakdown, or Seattle comparison breaks down, because, you know, Seattle being a tech city or West Coast city, like when you go to work and you're dressed in a t-shirt and a pair of shorts, we call that business casual. But even in high school, in high school, we used to have to dress up, wear a tie and a blazer and a sweater. And I clearly remember my high school principal. Well, I don't remember his name and I don't remember his face, but I really clearly remember him naming and shaming me in front of the whole school because my socks were not pulled up to my knees. But I've moved on that. So the other thing I loved about Nairobi was the food. There's lots of really great cuisine that you get in Nairobi because we're pretty diverse. But let's talk about some of the more simpler stuff that we're more used to. I mean, what's more American than a nice juicy burger or a hot piping cheesy pizza? Well, maybe the Italians might say the pizza is ours, but you know what? We're Americans and we can ignore the Italians and we'll take pizza to be our own. Well, even Nairobi, too, is actually staking its claim on just the burger and the pizza. And in fact, now we have regular pizza festivals and regular burger festivals where you can have all sorts of amazing food. But the other thing about Kenya, too, is that they've been known for growing coffee and exporting great coffee, but they also have an amazing coffee culture. In fact, some of the best espresso drinks I actually had in Nairobi, including Dorman's coffee. Being from Seattle, and you know how Seattle helped kick off that sort of global coffee culture, I think we have to give props to Howard and say thank you, and we appreciate you very much. And we'd also we'll appreciate you even more if you'd stop burning the beans. But in all seriousness, growing up in Nairobi, I mean, it was great, and we also had our own ups and downs, but if I was to do it over again, I would do it again in a heartbeat. I love my country, and I love America, and it's great. And hit me up if you want to chat more, my email, my Twitter, And thank you.